Hey guys, Two Dogs here. Today we are going to install a couple more accessories to my Glock 19 and 26. The first is going to be the Ghost trigger. It says 3.5. Let's be honest, it's more like 4. But anyway, it's a good addition, and I'm going to show you the easy way to do it. We are also going to install a magazine extension release. 1981 is the part. Because I just feel like the Gen 3 mag release, I just feel like every time I hold this, I have to twist it just a bit to get my thumb around. So when I'm firing and I want to release, see how my thumb doesn't quite make it to push it in far enough, so I need to twist it this way, as many of you complain about. So we're going to extend that release. Okay, stay tuned. Alright, first thing we're going to do is knock the pin out. Everybody uses a roll of tape, so do I. Pop that pin out of there. Move it aside. Now, what's going to happen is a lot of guys say, knock the other 2 pins out, pull this whole housing out. You don't need to do that. Squeeze the trigger a little bit, and this will pop up for you, and it'll just slide right out, like so. And all you need to do is just pull that out a little bit and twist it to the right. And that's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else. But just twist that. All we're doing is, come on, focus. There we go. All we're doing is changing that little guy right there. So why go any further than that? So what we need to do is take a little screwdriver of some sort. We're going to pry him out of there. Okay, and it's actually not as hard as it looks on camera. You just pry that guy out. I'm going to twist this down so he falls out. And out he comes. Okay. Now, what we're doing is replacing him with Ghost. And right away, what you're going to see, the difference is, well, what are you talking about? There's no difference at all. I don't see any difference. Actually, what you're paying your $13 for is right here. And let me hold this in a way where you can see it. So basically, the groove that the trigger runs against right here on the Glock standard is flat, where the Ghost is at a slant. And that allows for that smooth, crisp, easier pull. Okay, that's the difference right there between these two. There's your $13 Ghost trigger improvement. So basically what I'm going to do now is just take that and place it right back in. And do it so you guys can see it. Push him down firmly in there so he's nice and snug. Now what's important here is make sure that tip goes back into this plastic groove. So you want to make sure that that happens when you're putting this back together. So you put him back in there, and then there's the riding of the trigger guard. So you'll see the trigger pull. It just slides up and down against that piece right there. Let me get it in close for you. And that's what matters. And now it's just a matter of sliding your whole housing right back in until it snaps in. And I think I can show a little bit if let's see if we can do that. So that's what we just replaced right down in there. You can see it's shiny, stainless steel. And there's the pull. Can't really see that, I'll show it. And that's it. Okay, and then you're just going to put your pin back in, and you'll feel it instantly. So that's step one on our accessories, is just adding that ghost trigger. We're going to do it to the 19. I'm not going to film that. And then we'll go ahead and talk about that mag release extender. Okay, so this next modification takes all of 3 minutes. We are replacing the magazine release because we want to make ours extend out a little bit more. And what I've gone ahead and done is, I'm trying to get it to where you can see it. The only thing holding the magazine is that little tiny spring, and I'm going to get a screwdriver in here so you can see it. Let's go like that. Right there. This little guy, long, skinny guy. And all he does is just hold that release in place. So all you have to do is basically go in here and pop him out a little bit, like I have done right now. So he is popped out, and it's just a matter of just moving him over a little bit. You actually hold the magazine release in between, not all the way depressed, and basically what you'll do now is just push it all the way through, and out it comes. And that's basically it. And what you'll do then is you can actually see the spring sticking up just a little bit. There it is. Sticking up a little bit. And that little tip is going to go into this little hole on the new one. If you can see the little hole. And that is a matter of you moving it forward a little bit so that I can push the new one. And there's just no easy way for me to show you this. I'm basically going to push it out towards the center of where the magazine would go, and then I'm going to slide in the new one. Alright, so now I'm going to pry that spring in there forward. This spring right here, I'm just going to take my screwdriver, stick it in there to move it forward, like you just saw, so that I can slide in the magazine release. And that's the only way to get that in. And there's a little notch you see right here. And that little notch is actually where that spring is going to go. Okay? Really hard to show you this in the camera. So I'm just going to do it, and you can take my word for it that this is going to go in there. I'm going to pull it forward. I'm going to pause. Alright, so I pulled it forward, and you can see that the spring's not on yet. It's just riding against the magazine release. As you can see, I can just freely put this back and forth. So what we got to do now is inside here, I'm going to use my tiny screwdriver for that, is we got to get that spring to go back into that tiny little groove in there, which I don't know if you can see or not. So I'm going to do that by pushing that magazine over as far as I can, and by taking the spring and just pushing it over there. What Glock did is they took the steel rod and they basically just said, all right, we're just going to stick it in the plastic handle, and you stick it in there, snapped into place. So now you can see, hopefully, let's see if a flashlight helps. You can see that the spring is now inside. You can't see it real well, guys, but you can see that pushing the trigger guard, it's in. I sanded mine down a little bit, it was a little rough, but now, as I'm holding this thing, my release, my goal is to get that finger, just give myself a little extra help to push that in. Okay, so again, another modification, easily done. You know, Amazon.com's got a bunch of these things, 12 bucks, 13 bucks, whatever. These here I got 2 for 12, so not a bad modification. You can sand that down to whatever you like. But okay, hope that doesn't look as hard as I made it seem to be. It's not that bad actually, guys. Thanks.